Hey guys, this is Ian and welcome to my review of the Trn Mt1 Pro. And this is a budget IEM. It costs just 15 US dollars, just one meal for some, and it's a pretty affordable IEM. Okay, if you guys are interested, do check out the main official TRN store on AliExpress. If you guys need the link, I'll leave it down in the description below. Right, so in this video, I'm going to review this. I'm not going to unbox it. If you guys are interested to watch that unboxing, do check out the link up above. Right, so this IEM comes in three colors. All right, so it comes with green, black, and white. I got the white version, and it's a pretty unique IEM. All right. Come to that later, but it's got a sensitivity of 106, a frequency response of 20 to 20,000 hertz, and impedance of 22 ohms, right? So, and this is a pretty unique design. It's got a shell it's got a semi-open back shell, right? And it's got this very big vent right here, as you can see. Okay, so it's a very unique shell, I would say. Okay, and this is how the IEM looks like, right, out of the box. It's got a transparent look. They call it white, but it's a transparent shell. Okay, to me, it's a transparent shell. You can see the dynamic driver, the single dynamic driver inside. Pretty standard shell, I would say. Okay, a lot of IEMs, they have this type of shape. Okay, the cable that it came with, I'm not a big fan of this cable. Is the silicone braided cable. This one is 4-core, so yeah, it gets tangled up pretty easily. So yeah, but it is what it is. It's 15 bucks. Okay, it's got a 3.5 headphone jack, a Y splitter right here, I think. Yep, you got a Y splitter here, and a microphone. Right, so this is the microphone. I kind of like the microphone. All right, the sound is pretty clear, so the opposite end, they do hear me loud and clear. The silicone ear hooks are pretty okay. The memory ear hooks are pretty nice, and the entire hook to my ear is pretty comfortable. Okay, it's not hurting my ear or anything like that. It's not fatiguing to put on. In fact, I can wear this the entire day and I don't feel any pain on my ear. It's very comfortable to use for the entire day. Okay, ear tips are good. The seal is, I would say, about 70% being cut off of your environment sound. It's got a narrow bore type of ear tips, so I would say pretty bassy type of sound that you get from this ear tips. Okay, so talking about sound, let's take a look at the graph which I measured. Okay, I measured this IEM, and this is the graph that I came up with. So if you look at the graph, okay, it's a pretty unique tuning, I would say. Let's talk about the sub bass. All right, sub bass and the mid bass, it's not elevated, right? It's not overpowering, but you can feel that sub bass and the mid bass. So in terms of the sub bass, the rumble is there, the extension of the rumble is good, the note weight and the tone and the timbre of this IEM is warmish, natural type of tone and timbre. So it's a pretty good sub bass and mid bass. Mid bass is not as impactful that I hope for. In fact, there are some other IEMs that have got very impactful in mid bass, but the mid bass on these, they are not impactful to that extent whereby it's overpowering the entire mix. In fact, it does not bleed to the mids, so it's a good thing for me, right? So in terms of the entire mix itself, the bass is pretty tame, right, as you can see from the graph. The mids itself, right, is recessed, but even though it's recessed, the instruments, they do sound forward. all right, because the bass is not overpowering. So when you listen to some tracks and particular tracks, you can feel that the instruments are still pretty forward, and it's got good note weight as well, because you got no overpowering bass. Okay, so I think in terms of the mids, it's pretty well tuned, and it's got nice, good tone and timbre. It's not thin or dry, so you can feel that natural violin or the natural guitar that is in the mix itself. So in terms of the tone, the timbre is very, very good. Vocals, okay, so male vocals, again, they got a good tone and timbre, all right. They don't sound dry, they don't sound light as well, because they're laid back, right? So in terms of the position of the male vocal, it is not a very authoritative type of presence in the mix, but then again, it does not sound too light, it doesn't sound thin. So male vocals, I would say, is average. Okay, but female vocals, they are forward. All right, they sound bright. Okay, to a certain extent, sometimes they may sound harsh. Okay, and that brings me to the upper mids and the treble. Okay, so if you take a look at the upper mids and the treble, they are really present in the tuning itself. So in terms of the female vocals, they sound energetic, they sound, sometimes they sound harsh, okay, as I mentioned, but not sibilant, right? They don't sound sibilant. The 5K region, right, they actually do roll off pretty quickly. So in terms of the treble roll off, cymbal strikes, they do sound a little bit short, and female vocals, they do sound a bit, short changed to me. I mean, in terms of the extension of the treble, it does not extend that far, whereby the female vocals or the cymbal strikes do sound resonant to me. Okay, so it sounds a bit muted, but they sound bright. Okay, for soundstage, I would feel that soundstage is average. All right, it's got the width and a bit of the depth. All right, so in terms of the soundstage, it's not a very wide soundstage, a bit intimate, and I would say in your head. Okay, vocals, they do live in the head, but instruments and percussions, they do come out just a little bit on the sides and the front and on the top. So I would say soundstage is average. It's not a wide and deep or holographic type of soundstage that you'll be getting on these IEMs. But imaging is good, right? So sound separation and imaging, I would say that the percussions, they are outside, just in front of the vocals. The instruments, they are on the sides. Guitars, the flutes, clarinets, you can hear it on the sides, but they are not far off, they're not far away. You can hear them quite intimate as well. But the layering is there, right? So you can feel that the layer is outside of your head while the vocals are living in your head itself. Okay, so in terms of imaging and sound separation, I would say it's good, and yeah, it's pretty noticeable. Okay. The resolution and detail retrieval on this are good as well. So in terms of the detail retrieval, I would say not the best. Okay, some nuances is not really audible to me, but then again, it's not that muddy or blurred that I can't hear the details of the this IEM. Okay, resolution is pretty okay as well. So it's not a very technical IEM, but I would say it's acceptable. Okay, dynamic drivers, I would feel sometimes they don't give you the best resolution, but I would say it depends on what type of diaphragm they have and what type of diaphragm they use. But I would say that for this one, the resolution and the detail retrieval is acceptable, and it's just maybe just a bit more than some. All right, maybe the blonde BL03, this may just sound a bit more clearer. Okay, so in terms of the overall, I would say the sound delivery, I would say is soothing, all right? It's bright to a certain extent in terms of female vocals, and also is like a all-rounder type of IM. So in terms of genre, you can listen to all types of genre on this IM, because of the unique tuning that it has, right? So it's not overpowering bass, so that the mids, even though it's recessed, it still shines. At the same time, the brightness of the treble does bring out the female vocals, and some of the instruments that are, have got the higher octaves type of sound. So soundstage and imaging is average, is reasonable, and so overall listening experience, I would say, is soothing. All right, soothing. Is not fatiguing, but depends on the track also. For female vocals, sometimes they do sound harsh, so if you were to continue listening for a longer period of time, you may get a little bit of fatigue from listening to female vocals. So, do I recommend these IEMs? Yeah, I mean, 15 US dollars. I would recommend it just because it's very cheap. The price is really reasonable for this type of tuning. I would say if you were to maybe skip a meal, you will be able to afford this IEM. So yeah, so that's my overall review and impression of this MT1 Pro. I think it's affordable and reasonable IEM to get as a spare IEM if you want to. And yeah, if you want, do get it and put it in your bag as a spare IEM. Right, so that's it for my review of this MT1 Pro. If you learned something from this video or you enjoyed this video, do consider to give it a thumbs up, and do consider to subscribe to my channel and click on the bell so that you get notified of my future videos. Right, so thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you guys have a great day ahead, and I'll see you again in my next video. Cheers.